So we're back again with another. I was gonna say this is a review, but it's not a review. It is my first thoughts and impressions on the new Thai BL, Khemjira. This is also done by Dumandi, which I think is extremely funny. Dumandi really is coming out with like hit after hit. Dumandi really wasn't on my list of production companies that I was really gonna look out for this TV year. I was really looking out for Mimandi and Beyond Cloud, which, if you're not aware, Beyond Cloud did the series Ken and Porsche, which is one of my favorite BLs of all time, and Mimandi did Love in the Air. I think that we can all agree it's kind of just like a really good BL. It's got the two storylines. They're both equally important. They both intertwine with each other. Maybe I'll give my review on that because that is really like the S tier class of BLs in my opinion. But anyways, Dumandi's really been coming out with hits. They came out with The Next Prince, and then this Khemjira. It looks fabulous. When it comes all the way out, I might do a part 2 and give like an actual like review. But this is my first review and impression of Khemjira because we're only 8 episodes in. I am so excited for the next episode, and I really want to see how this wraps up. So, Khemjira, what is it? It combines two of my favorite genres, which is BL and supernatural, and I'm very excited that they did this, and I'm very excited that they did it well. It's done well. And if you are a fan of BL and you're also a fan of supernatural, there is probably nothing that you won't enjoy about this. It has a horror genre. It has a horror element. It has a suspense element. It has curses, generational curses. Like, it's mystery, intrigue. I really like it a whole lot. There aren't really a whole lot of negatives that I have to this. The two main actors are fabulous. The story is fabulous. The B plot is really good. It's not just thrown in there so we can see another couple. I really like this series, and I really am excited to go over kind of the key points of what I enjoy about it so much. So this BL was produced by Domandi, like I said, and it's adapted from the novel Khemjira Must Survive by Kali. And I love BLs that are from novels. I think normally, like 9 times out of 10, they are hits without basically anything being done to them. So the first thing I want to talk about is the cast and their performances. This part really makes me so happy because the main couple, well, both couples, are couples that we have not seen before. This is a new, fresh face to the production company, and I gotta say I'm very excited. I'm excited to see what they play in next. I know that they have a few shows coming up, and I cannot wait to watch them. That's number 1. Number 2, the side couple is also very interesting. I like their chemistry. I like how they act. Everyone in this show does a really good job of acting. And you might say they're actors. If you are a fan of BL, you know it is not always a goal to be a good actor, to be a star of a BL. No shade, no tea. I'm just saying that is the case. So for the first main lead, we have Namping, and he plays Kim, which I absolutely love. The way he acts with his face is amazing. He portrays so much just through his eyes. It's so great. I cannot speak highly enough on this actor right here. I don't think I've seen an actor that portrays this much with his face in the recent years, honestly. And then the second male lead, Kang, I love him too. You can see like the yearning. You can feel he's conflicted. I mean, like, you do not have to have dialogue to know what these characters are feeling. And that is so refreshing for a BL. It's wonderful. I love it. These actors really, really got in touch with what they wanted to portray, and they portrayed it. I love it. I cannot speak highly enough on it. And then also for a supporting cast, we have the best friend Jet, and he's first one. He's adorable as well. I love him. He does a wonderful job. The intensity between Kem and Peem is absolutely stunning. The chemistry is wonderful, but also the looks they give each other. It's not just the dialogue. It's their body language. It's how they interact with each other in a non-verbal way. It is amazing. And then you have side characters that add a light, jovial part to this, so it's not so heavy. It's wonderful. It's a very well-balanced BL. I do want to say one of the drawbacks in some of the early episodes, Peem, the shaman, he really resists helping Kim, and it's not really understood why. Like, yeah, going forward, we kind of get a little bit of a motivational, but it really just feels like it was drummed up for conflict. And that happens a lot in these shows, but it's just a drawback I want to mention. So you might be asking me, you're kind of glazing this show right now. Like, I mean, is it that great? One, I think it is. It's a really great BL. Two, it does have some drawbacks. There is some weird pacing throughout the show where some things feel too long and drawn out. There's a lot of long exposition or intense like myth or lore drops, which kind of slows things down a lot also. Even though this is a very original show and I do enjoy how refreshing it is to have it in the genre, there are a couple of tropes that, I mean, every BL is going to have, unfortunately. And also, while I think the show does a pretty good job of keeping things balanced, there are a few times where like very light, funny moments kind of feel odd or off-putting because we just got through a really intense scene and it doesn't feel like the right moment for it. That does pop up a couple of times. I will say that as well. So now that I got like my vague, pros and cons out of the way, this is where spoilers kind of come in, fruition, I should say. I'm going to get into some key moments in the episode. So if you haven't watched it and you don't want to be spoiled, click off. Go away. Because I will be spoiling it. And I think even with it spoiled, you can still really enjoy it. But there is always that first time watch that you're never going to get again. So if you haven't seen it and you plan on watching it, I suggest stopping here and going and watching it. Really, honestly. To give a little bit of like the premise of the plot, the heirs in one of the main character, Kim's family, all of the male heirs are destined to die before they turn 21. And the name Kim is actually pretty interesting because in Thailand, Khemjira or Kim is a female name, and his mother named him that to protect him, which I think adds like another interesting thing because going forward, there's a way that ties back into his current name, which I love. So the beginning of the plot is we are coming up on Kim's 19th birthday. And it's coming close to the 21st birthday where he is destined to die. And right from the beginning, we are kind of given the tone of this show. There is a very, jump scary scene, which I might say the special effects in this are pretty dang good. I have gripes with the special effects of a lot of BL, series. This one, I don't have hardly any. It's wonderful. They're very well done. And the makeup artistry in this is pretty good. I'll have to look up who is the main makeup artist for this because I really enjoyed their work. So to try to fight against fate, Kim employs the help of his really goofy friend Jet. Jet is from this village. So we don't get a whole lot of how Jet and Kim became friends, but Jet is from a village with a very powerful shaman named Peem. Now here's the thing. Throughout this series, the actors, or I guess the characters, call him Master, but it's in their language, obviously, and I believe there's, honorific titles, like how people over there call lawyers, lawyer, doctor, doctor, and they're, honorific titles. It sounds kind of weird for me as an English speaker just to call this guy Master, so his name is Peem, and I will be calling him Peem, even though that's not really what the characters call him. So Peem is a pretty powerful shaman from this village. He protects his village. He serves the people in the village. And Jet knows this shaman. There's some chaos around a school trip, a school volunteer trip that they're doing. And so Jet, in an attempt to help his friend, suggests they go to his hometown village to volunteer where this very powerful shaman just happens to be. And in the beginning, he's very reluctant to help Kim. He does not want to. And it's kind of alluded to that, something in his past may have caused him to feel this way. But we don't ever get a clear answer on that. He kind of just switches from, I don't want to help you, to, you have to be helped. It's very odd, and it's a very, quick change. But it's not too glaring that, it distracts from the series. This is also where we are introduced to some kind of tidbits that past lives are involved, and I gotta say, I really love how they did this. They intertwine the past lives of the main couple and the side couple, and I do enjoy it a whole lot. It gives me Until We Meet Again vibes, and I love that BL, so any kind of show that gives me vibes like that, I think I'm gonna love, Also, in the first episode, there is a scene that this show is great at foreshadowing, and I will include it. We have this spirit who is not harmful to Kim, but kind of just looks at him, and it's very interesting. I like how they set this up. In the first episode, there's also a couple of aspects that really shows us who Kim is, which I really like how they show who he is instead of telling who he is. He helps a little boy escape a abusive situation. And then whenever they're driving through this tunnel with a bunch of spirits, he wants to sacrifice himself to save the other students and his friend, which I really like. It really shows us that Kim is a sweet person who is really going through something that it's not fair. It gives that extra, like, this shouldn't be happening to him vibes, you know? Before I talk about the scene that introduces the master or Peem, I do want to say that there is a lot of things in here about Thai culture and Thai spiritual beliefs. So if I get any terminology wrong or if I say anything wrong, I am not trying to. I have like looked up stuff to try to figure out like the correct words for things. And Google kind of sucks. So I apologize in advance if anyone sees this and, you know, call me out on it, please. Our beginning scene with Peem, the master, is he is performing somewhat of an exorcism on this woman who is possessed by an evil spirit. In front of a group of students, I might add, which I think is so funny. If I were going on a volunteer trip and someone was getting exorcised, I would leave immediately. Immediately. You're doing this in the town square, which means this isn't like a crazy occurrence. No, I'm gone. Not doing it. Also, I do want to say before we move on, Kim and Peem are two of the most beautiful men I have ever seen in my life. If my wife heard me say this, she would probably murder me. But they are. They're beautiful. I didn't know humans could look like that. So we have the exorcism bit, and we are introduced to Peem, the master. Everyone calls him the master. I will call him Peem. But we are introduced to the master. And Jet pushes Kim forward and is like, yo, try to get his help because you gon' need it. And I think that's very interesting that the master, it's showing his reluctance here, but we do not get clear evidence for why there is reluctance to help Kim. We kind of just see it. Moving right along, episode 2, we have a flashback of Peem and his master. We learn that Peem is all white magic and his master dabbled in black magic and things that he shouldn't have, and his master really encourages him not to dabble in anything black magic. Me personally, we haven't seen anything like this yet, but I think that's foreshadowing in that to save Kim, there might be a moment where he's like, oh, should I use black magic? Should I use white magic? I think that's going to come up, and I'm very interested to see if they weave that in. Right away after the exorcism, we have that flashback scene, and then we have a scene where the village is kind of under attack by evil spirits, and we see that there is a woman, like, not controlling, but egging on all these evil spirits to attack the village. And she says she wants Kim. Give her Kim and she will leave this village alone. And even though Peem is reluctant to help Kim, he fights her off, says no, it's not going to happen. And in this episode, we are also introduced to two of my favorite characters. I love them. They're little kids, but they're acting as spirit guides, and they're Peem's spirit guides. They're adorable. I love them. I love what they add to the series. They're helpful. They're cute. I mean, they're adorable little kids. You can't get better than that. This attack happens, but it ultimately ends up in nothing. They protect Kim. Jet is like an aspiring shaman, so he is also trying to help Kim spiritually along with Peem. Even though he hasn't said he's going to help him, he did protect his village, which is what happened now. Some exposition also happens, and we find out that Kim was saved by Peem's master, who has passed away. Peem's parents have also passed away. So these two men are orphans. They're orphans together. And we learn that all in the second episode. But Peem has still not agreed to help Kim. He says that his fate is not his to alter right now. And this is what I was saying before, is I don't understand what the motivation is there. I don't know why you would allow him to come to your village, protect the village, and then say you're not going to protect him. I don't know if there was something else in the books and it just didn't get included, but it kind of makes the character motivation a little iffy here. And this episode, we are also introduced to John, which is the Jet's future lover. We're introduced, and we're not really sure what his motivation are. We just know that he's really interested in Kim and Jet. Like, he's like, oh, they're so weird. Like, on the trip, he's talking to his friend, and he's like, what's up with them? And That's how we're introduced with him. I like him. He's a fun character as well. So I'm not going to go through everything that happens in this series because that would be like an 80-hour video. But I will say episode 2 can be kind of summed up with they're in the village where Peem is, but he has not agreed to help Khem yet. We have some exposition. We are introduced to, who these people are, kind of what their story is, and we're set up for the rest of the series. In episode 3, one of the things that I want to stress is that this is where the introduction of past lives come up, and we are introduced to a woman named Khem and a man who looks identical to Peem. He's played by, Peem. So those that we're introduced to them, and there's also another character in there, and he kind of looks like the spirit that was interested in Khem earlier. But how we're introduced to these past life characters is Khem, who is a woman. She is announcing to her family that her and Peem are engaged. We are also introduced to 2 other characters in the past life, which are 2 other ladies who are Khem's friends, and one of them has glasses on. So the spirit that was interested in Khem earlier, but that didn't want to hurt him, his name we find out is Yod. And in this past life flashback, we see that Peem goes to war and he says, Yod, please take care of my lovely Khem. Well, surprise, surprise, Yod's like, I'm going to take care of her all right. I'm going to make her my wife. No, he confesses his feelings for her. And she's like, I like Peem. What the fuck are you talking about, you freak? That doesn't go very well. She rejects him. We get a flash forward, and it's no longer about the past lives. We're in the current, but we see Peem talking to Yod, and they're discussing Khem. So we know that Peem knows his past life, and he knows what happened in his past life. So that's another interesting layer to this in episode 3. I also do want to say that Peem is kind of mean to Khem in this episode, and we kind of see that, like, Peem's fighting back against, like, the fate of their past lives. And we see that, like, he's trying not to project past life Khem onto current Khem, and he's kind of being really mean about it. So that's what episode 3 is. We learn a little bit of the past lives. We find out that they're all kind of connected generationally and reincarnationally. And Peem knows all this, and he's fighting against it. This is also where we get a really cute scene of the 2 spirit guides that I absolutely love. They are adorable. They make this series, like, at least a whole point better. So if the series was like a 9, they would make it a 10. Also in episode 3, I do just want to mention that we get a scene of Peem in a wet t-shirt. Not a t-shirt, it's a white dress shirt. But a white dress shirt in the rain. I have a wife. I'm going to keep this very PG. That man is so beautiful. They did pick the right man for the job for this one. So this was video 1. Again, I forgot to record an outro, but thanks everyone who watched. How's everyone feeling? I love this show. Episode 9 just came out as I'm posting this. What a bucket of tears. What a bucket of tears. Oh my gosh. But anyways, thanks. It seems like I can't make a short video to save my life. There will be more coming out soon. So thank you for watching, and come back again. Bye.